in the meantime, let me just ask you a question that I just wish I had the answer to. For those who are complaining about what President Trump directed Saturday night, do you want Iran to have nukes? It is a binary choice. You understand that, right? If we don't stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons, they will develop nuclear weapons, and they will likely use them. And I just wonder about people who continually second guess everything that President Trump has done. I mean, Pete Hegseth said it best, cut number 2, when the president speaks, the world should listen. When he says he's going to do something, he will. This is what the left and the Trump haters never get through their thick skulls. He said over and over, year after year, I will never allow Iran to threaten the world with nukes. And so he did that. He fulfilled his promise. Here's what Defense Secretary Hegseth said.
When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close.
We're flying blind a little bit here. Maybe we're a little bit like the B-2, the pilots, because we think we have audio and video. This is a guy who means a lot to me. In fact, he and I got to co-host a trip to Alaska a year or so ago. Sadly, he's going to be too busy this time around. Larry Elder's taking his place on the second annual Patriots Alaska cruise. But maybe I could take Katie. Maybe I can take Julia. Maybe I could take the family. Sebastian Gorka serves as Deputy Assistant to President Trump, Senior Director for Counter-Terrorism, the National Security Council. I don't know, Seb, if you could hear before you joined us, but your friend and, of course, colleague Pete Hegseth saying, look, when President Trump speaks, the world ought to listen. He fulfilled that Saturday night, didn't he?
I'm really shocked by those who pretend that they were MAGA voters, and for all those with Trump derangement syndrome who are surprised that we pulled this off. I was in the White House Situation Room on Saturday evening, and everybody who was surprised by it has been asleep, has been a Rip Van Winkle for the last decade. God bless Caroline Leavitt, who just last week from the podium here at the White House said, you do know that even before he ran, in 2011, President Trump, as a private citizen, said Iran should never acquire nuclear weapons. And then, if you go back to that momentous occasion, Mike, I know it's seared on your cerebellum, in that beautiful Golden Tower in Manhattan when he came down the escalators and he gave that speech where he declared, I'm running for the presidency. Part of that speech was exactly this. He said, we will never permit Iran to acquire nuclear weapons. Why? Because it's a fascistic, theocratic regime that calls for the destruction of America every single Friday. So now he's the commander-in-chief. It's just another promise kept. And can I just go to that little clip you played of my friend Pete and the amazing Chairman Kaine? There is Tom Clancy doesn't come close to this. I'm sorry. The TV shows, the movies, the Jason Bourne doesn't touch this. The idea that we had this package of stealth bombers fly halfway across the world, nobody knew they were coming from here as opposed to Diego Garcia, and the fact that they did this mission without one shot, Mike, being fired, without one Iranian interceptor, one fighter plane getting off the launch pad. Why? Because we are the greatest military force the world has ever seen. And as Pete said, you better listen to the commander-in-chief, to President Donald J. Trump.
You know, you're one of the strongest straight shooters I've ever met. I want to get your wisdom, your common sense reaction to those who are second guessing Saturday night's military success. Whether it's, you know, the Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries, or all the Democrats are lining up. This was awful. This is an impeachable offense and all this other stuff. Does that mean, Seb, that they actually support Iran's nuclear ambitions? I posted that question on social media over the weekend. I thought, well, look, this is kind of a binary choice here. If you don't like stopping Iran from being able to advance their nuclear aspirations, does that mean you want Iran to have nuclear aspirations? Is that oversimplifying things, or is that how you see it?
No, it's very simple. I mean, what is Iran? Go back to the photographs of our 50-plus hostages taken in the embassy in 1979. Go back to the Beirut bombing, where hundreds of U.S. Marines were killed by an organization that was funded and controlled by the regime, the proxy masters in Tehran. Go back to just the nature of the regime. I mean, really, the party that says they're for the small guy, for ethnic minorities, for LGBTQ, LMNOP, this is the regime that throws people off rooftops if they're homosexuals. This is the regime that beats women and sometimes shoots them to death if they take their head scarves off their heads. So it's worse than what you said, Mike. If you're against Operation Midnight Hammer, the most exquisitely sublime, perfect military operation of the modern age, then not only are you on the side of Iran, you're also in favor of them acquiring nuclear weapons. It truly is that simple, my friend.
You know, it's your job to study the bad guys, and you've done it for many, many years. As in your role as Senior Director for Counter-Terrorism at the National Security Council, you I guess, have to sort of inhabit the brains, the mindset of what the evildoers want to do to us. There's, of course, a big concern about retaliation. From your perspective, Seb, what does that look like for the American people? There's clearly a presence of sleeper cells, one would imagine, on American soil. There's an expectation that they might try to strike our military bases in the Middle East. From your perspective, what do you think they do in terms of retaliation?
So, Mike, I can't go into the specifics of what we've done in theater, but let me just assure you that our forces are protected. Secondly, I can't go into what I receive every morning, which is my intelligence briefing, but I'll say this, and Mike, you've heard me say this for the last 6.5 years when I had my Salem show and my Newsmax show. You have to understand, you, a private citizen listening to this show, are on the front line of the war with global jihadism. It's not just those brave B-2 pilots. It's not just our tier 1 operators in theater. It is you. Why? Because this is what the enemy is. It's a global jihadi movement, whether it's Sunnis like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, or whether it's Shia-backed militias like those supported by Iran. So always have your head on a swivel, watch your six, take responsibility for your safety. But at the same time, let me reassure you of this. You know, I served in the first Trump administration. We're back here now. It's, let me put it this way. It's a little bit different, okay? We have the A team, not just the alphas, but the A team. The fact that friends of mine are driving every element of the president's team, whether it's Kash Patel at the FBI, his deputy Dan Bongino, a friend of mine, whether it's Pam Bondi, whether it's Governor Noem, whether it's the guy straight out of Central Casting, Tom Homan, whether it's Pete Hegseth. These are the people who are there for one reason and one reason alone, to make sure you, your listeners, their families are safe. So rest assured, America first means you will be safe and you will prosper, and our enemies will be in trouble.
Amen. And you know, you said something that's the understatement of the century. Things are different this time around. I just opened up a media site that is no friend to conservatives. Headline, and this is not written by a friend of the Trump administration, an anti-Trump journalist who writes, "The Iranian nuclear strike was Donald Trump's finest hour." He writes, one thing is clear, in his finest hour yet as commander-in-chief, Donald Trump greenlit a well-developed plan to carry out a righteous operation to make the world a safer place. We're grateful for him And we're grateful for you. And I'm excited because I just got a text from your family. They're all set. Their bags are packed. So I'm loading everybody up for the Alaska cruise. So we'll send you, well, I don't think anybody sends postcards. We'll send you a selfie from the Eurodam. And I'm kidding. They're not really going, but I wish they would. Seb, we're honored that you could. I know how busy you are. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to join us on the Mike Gallagher Show. Keep fighting the good fight, my friend.
That's the plan. God bless you and all the listeners and viewers. Thank you, Mike. Keep crushing it.
You bet. Dr. Sebastian Gorka joining us on the Mike Gallagher Show. That is true, right? I mean, this does come down to sort of a binary choice, does it not? Is this not a decision that comes down to whether you want Iran to have nukes or not? Isn't it that easy? Am I oversimplifying? And I don't want to discourage dissent. You could be a little apprehensive. You could be concerned. Is it the right step to... Don't you agree that if you we didn't kill any civilians in Iran. Trump didn't start war with Iran. Our military obliterated, destroyed, decimated the 3 nuclear sites in order to prevent Iran from achieving their nuclear desires. You're against that? Okay. So are you then okay with Iran possessing nukes? It's a simple question.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.